Hello, welcome back to Roughwood Outdoors. Today we're going to be going through my new fire pit. Okay, so I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. We're going to go through the dimensions, some bits about it, and the make of it. Okay, so this is the Winnerwell small-sized flat fire pit. Comes in two parts: the base and the actual fire pit itself. Okay, so you've got the base, which is flat and folds out to make the base of the actual fire pit. So that sits on like so. And then the actual fire pit itself, it's flat with a small gap at the top, and it folds out like so. And that sits in there, and that is the fire pit. Okay, so folded size together, it's 325 millimeters by 170 millimeters by around about 30 millimeters, depending on which way you hold it. Okay. And the assembled height is 120 millimeters from the bottom of the stand to the top of the fire pit. And around the outside, each side is 218 millimeters. Okay, so each side is 218 millimeters. The weight of the whole stove by itself is 1.2 kilograms, which isn't too bad for a little fire pit you can take out on a day hike or when you go and do a bushcraft camp. And load bearing, as in pushing down on it, is 8 kilograms, which I think is quite a lot for the size of this fire pit. It's made of stainless steel. It's got a little kind of hinges all the way along the sides, which make it fold. As you can see, I have used this once just to give it a bit of a burn. Now, Winnerwell sell what they call a coal grate or a charcoal grate at the bottom, but it's very expensive for what it is. So I ordered a metal drain cover off eBay. It doesn't look perfect, but all it's going to do is have fire on it, and basically cut it to size that I needed, rounded off all the edges, and that now sits in the bottom like so, just to give it a little bit of space for the bottom. I also made a bit bigger one for two things. One, when the fire's going, I can put it on the side and I can put my cup on there to warm up. And the other thing is, I can put it across the bottom like so, and I can put my trangier on there and have my use my trangier on there too, and the windshield if I want to keep it off the ground if the ground is really dry like it is at the moment. Okay, so we are going to have a little fire in the fire pit just to show you how it works. It's got holes all around the outside, so it has got a really good airflow, but the only thing is the bottom of the fire pit isn't sealed, as you can see. So ash will drop through. So if you are going to use it, you need to use it on ground where you don't mind getting a little bit of ash on, or you need to put one of those fireproof mats down, or in this case, I found an old bit of breeze block or concrete, and I'm going to use it on that because it is really dry at the moment. Just off to my right here, I have got a bucket of canal water, which you don't really want to be drinking, but if some sparks did go or some embers did go on the dry stuff around me, I have cleared quite a bit of it. You can put it out quickly. Okay, so just collected some dead dry hawthorn, so which is what we're going to use for a bit of kindling today. Okay, so for the tinder, just to keep it simple, we're going to use a bit of the waxed fire discs. Okay, so all you do is kind of break it in half, peel it apart, fluff up the fibres inside, and it'll burn for a good while. Okay, so just got my little leather fire base. Now, little thing when we're using knives, I'm constantly cutting myself, so I've put together a little first aid kit which lives on my belt, which is a Helicon Tex bushcraft line pouch. So I'm going to go through that at a later point, because I'm constantly cutting myself and I don't want to get blood all over my first aid kit. I've also as well invested in it's known as a Israeli bandage, or the emergency bandage. Got it from the bushcraft show this year. It's a 4-inch hemorrhage control bandage. Okay, so it was £6 and it lasts until 2030, so 5 years basically. So it is in date, and whenever I'm using anything cutting tools now, I've always got this little first aid kit, and I'll leave this out next to where I'm working, near my chair, near my water bottle, just so I know if I do get a really bad cut, I've got something there I can get on it nice and quick. Okay, so today we're going to use my TBS Lynx bush tool to get the fire going. So I'm just going to fluff up the fire disc a little bit, get my tinder ready, and then using the big boy firelighter, same again. A tip from Mike from TA Outdoors is just hold it over with a stick just to get it going. So as I say, it's got plenty of airflow all around the outside, and you do have to be careful because of the ash coming out the bottom. As you can see, it's a good sized fire pit for what it is. You can get a decent fire going to warm up your food. Now, they do sell a grate to put on top as well, Winnerwell, but same again, not a massive fan of it, to be honest. They slide on at the side, they cover half the fire. They're good if you've got some coals going, but for a brew or something, and you want the flame, it's not great. So I have got, and I have paired it, will pair it with the TGM Metalworks mini fire anchor. So I have used this last time I did the burn, but as we probably all have seen by TGM Metalworks, cracking bit of kit, and because of how long it is, the pole, doesn't matter if how high your fire pit is up, you can hang your billy can off there. It gives it good height. You can still get under it to feed it more twigs. To keep the burn going. Okay, and because it's stainless steel, doesn't rust, it'll last forever. Okay, so that is the Winnerwell small flat pack fire pit. If you want any information about the fire pit, look in the description. There'll be the inches and pounds that it weighs for the people across the pond. Okay, but yeah, that's it. I think it's a cracking bit of kit. Price wise, around about £35 plus about £6 or £7 delivery from Winnerwell itself. You can get it from other places. Amazon don't stock the small one, they only stock from the medium up, because there's a medium, a large and an extra large. And I think for £35, if this lasts you 10 years, that is a really good price. And I think it will last you 10 years, because there's literally, unless you abuse it, there's nothing that can go wrong with it. Okay, so this is the Winnerwell small sized fold